To get the most out of your charting interface, you'll need to configure it. This means setting up the sections and segments you want your notes to contain, creating the statements, quick statements, and questions that you'll use to add text to your notes, and editing the forms used to capture intake information, such as family history and review of systems. To open ChartPro configuration, mouse over Tools at the top of any page and click ChartPro. Sections and segments let you determine how your notes are organized. Sections are the basic main divisions of a chart note: subjective, objective, assessment, and plan. These can't be edited. Segments are smaller divisions within those sections, such as the family history, diet, and medications segments within the subjective section. Some common chart segments are already loaded, but you can delete any of them that you don't need and add any others you want to see. If you use different chart segments for different kinds of appointments, you can use templates to access the ones you need for each appointment. We'll cover that in a moment. To delete any segment, click the Edit button to its right. Then click the red Delete icon in the upper right of the Edit window. To add a segment, navigate to the section in which you want to add it, and then click Add a segment to this section at the bottom of the segment list. To rearrange your segments, use their sorting order. You can change the sorting order for a segment after clicking Edit. The ChartPro Segments area also controls the shortcuts that you create to add frequently used content to any note. These come in three forms: statements, quick statements, and questions. Statements can be any length and can contain special formatting, pictures, tables, and variables that add details from the patient or visit information. When you click to add a statement, you'll see that the editing window contains all the same text management options as the regular chart editing window. You'll also see a list of special variables, which you can click to insert into your statement. These variables pull information from the patient account or visit details and insert it into your note. So for instance, you could create a statement containing the age and gender variables, the word presented to the clinic with, and the CC variable, and when you add it to a patient's chart, you'll get a sentence specific to that visit. For instance, 43-year-old female presented to the clinic with back pain, or 50-year-old male presented to the clinic with nausea, based on the details already entered for the visit on the schedule. If you use the text variable, you'll create a blank that you can fill in when using the statement in a chart note. If you use the list variable, you can create a drop-down menu and specify the options that will be available to choose from. Quick statements insert shorter blocks of text with no special formatting, just to save you repetitive typing. When you add a quick statement, you can choose to designate it as either a normal or an abnormal finding, or neither. Normal findings can be added to a chart altogether as a group or individually. Abnormal findings can only be added individually. Questions let you add question and answer information to your note in the most appropriate format, such as multiple choice or a ranked scale. Both the question and the answer will appear in your note. When you add a question, you can select what type of question it is from the drop-down list: text, paragraph, multiple choice, date, or scale. Text and paragraph questions are open-ended. When you add them to a note, you'll be prompted to type out the patient's answer. Date-type questions, such as "When did this symptom last occur?" will prompt you to select the appropriate date from a pop-up calendar. When you create a multiple choice or scale question, you'll set up the options to choose from. When you add one of these to a note, you'll just have to click the appropriate answer from the drop-down menu or the scale bubbles. All statements are associated with a particular section and segment of the note. You can move a statement into a different segment using the drop-down menu at the top of the Edit Statement window. Some of these segments have forms associated with them to condense a number of standard related questions into one question and answer session. Review of systems intake and family history are the two largest forms, and you can edit them to make them reflect the questions you ask in your intake. The ROS intake is a detailed system-by-system questionnaire about current and previous symptoms. It can be filled out in either of two ways. You can edit it in the subjective ROS segment of your note while you're charting, or if you're using the full version of the software with the online patient portal, you can email the patient a link to complete it online prior to their initial visit. Each section of the ROS intake contains a list of symptom-related questions. You can add, edit, delete, or reorder questions, and you can also change the severity value associated with any symptom. The family medical history is also available to the patient in the online intake, as well as to the provider in the charting environment. Each condition in the list can be answered for the same set of close relations: mother, father, brother, sister, child, grandparent, or extended family member. The conditions in the list have no details to edit, but you can add and delete conditions to customize the list. Some chart segments have other, smaller forms built into them, such as the patient problem list, which is in the History of Present Illness section. Those can't be customized, so we'll talk about them from the clinical perspective later. Templates allow you to have different note segments for different kinds of visits. Every visit type in your schedule settings has a matching template in your ChartPro settings. To add a new template, you'll need to add a corresponding visit type in your schedule settings. You can do that from this page. By default, each template will include all of your segments. To turn off segments from a template, click Edit and uncheck or check individual segments so that you have only the ones you want to include. You can only turn existing segments off and on from this menu, not create entirely new segments. If you want to add a segment that doesn't exist yet, click ChartPro Segments from the left-hand menu to get back to the main ChartPro administration area. Once you have your segments, shortcuts, and templates set up, creating chart notes will be quicker and more convenient. For more information about the online patient intake process, see the knowledge base article on the patient intake form. For more information about visit types, see the configuration video on schedule settings.